Happy Monday. We got an 8-game slate. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We are back to the grind. That's right, the Monday Blues are here. But we're going to talk some baseball and have some fun doing it. So this weekend is around a break even, like we do every single weekend. But we'll go over the full recap in just a little bit. Before we get started, Outlier, you guys know any graphics you see in this video are from Outlier, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get right into it. But no MLB fun fact, no dad joke, because I actually have a legit question I want to have a conversation with you guys about, and it's about a current pitcher. And in honor of him pitching today, is Zach Wheeler a Hall of Famer? It's a simple question. I am curious. I haven't dug too deep into it yet, but I think I've seen some people say no, some say yes. He is going to retire once his contract is up, I think, in a couple of years. So I think it's a fun little conversation to have. So let me know if you think Zach Wheeler is a Hall of Famer. Good little convo for today. But in this video, we're going to recap the weekend first, and then, of course, we'll go over the good and bad hitter matchups, and then we'll give you the best pitcher strikeout matchups, the full pitcher report, and then we'll end it with the best bets and the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. All right, let's get it rolling. And that means it's recap time. All right, here it is, the full weekend recap. Alt team total parlay to start off on Friday was a nice, easy winner there. Rays moneyline 6-0 lead, and they lost by 14. Yeah, their defense was just not good, apparently, because they gave up 3 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion. Gilbert, 6+ Ks. Yandy Diaz, 1+ hit. That was a nice, easy winner there. Under 4 in the first 5, Seattle, Texas. The one thing I was worried about was Eovaldi coming out a little rusty, and he did, and that did not hit. But then the under 9.5 Phillies, Atlanta. Atlanta did nothing, but Bryce Elder gave up like 3 huge bombs for 7 runs. The Phillies went over this on their own. It was brutal. But 2 and 3, small losing day on Friday. And then the same theme stayed on Saturday with a 1 and 2 day. Over 8.5 in Miami, Arizona. I almost made that one unit. I really wish I did. They scored 1,000,000 runs. All team total parlay. That was a loss for a half unit because of the de-juicer. The Boston team total under 6.5. They scored 1,000,000 runs. Chris Bassett continues to hate me. And then the third one, Mike Soroka under 17.5 outs. Didn't give up many hits, but there's a lot of deep counts. I think he had like 80-something pitches in the 6th inning. There's a leadoff guy on first. Next guy, I think it was Rengifo. Double play. That's when you know it's over. He did have a chance, but either way, 1 and 2 day, and then luckily we ended with a 2 and 1 day on Sunday. And I say luckily because the over 8 Seattle, Texas was like 1-1 the entire game. It goes 12 innings and 6-4. Thank goodness. I needed a good break there. And then Astros -1. We went a little alt line there. If you had -1.5, it won too because it was a nice, easy 2-0 win as Framber is just another lefty to add that has dominated the Cubs lately. And then A's first 5-inning money line never had a chance. They just didn't get the bats going. But again, +150, taking some shots here, plus money. But we'll take a 2 and 1 day there. Again, lost under a unit. But man, last week was decent. But I am ready for an actual hot streak, not just like 5 and 3. I need a hot streak. So hopefully that's coming this week. But that's the breakdown of everything on the bottom. That's the weekend recap. Now let's talk some hitters. All right, we got 7 good hitter matchups for you today, and it's all about the guy in the middle, Vlad Guerrero Jr., 8 for 12, 3 extra base hits, and a bomb off of Carlos Rodon. So that is a great matchup for him. Other than that, you know, some decent ones, but a smaller slate today, so you're not going to see many. Adolis Garcia and Bobby Witt, both 4 for 9 in their matchups today, and then you see J.P. Crawford up there, 5 for 14, LeMahieu 6 for 16, so on and so on. So that's what we got for the good hitter matchups. Now let's take a look at the bad hitter matchups. And you're going to see some guys against Max Scherzer. So something to keep in mind, especially if you're just new to baseball, a year in, 2 years. You're going to see Goldie has struggled, Trent Grisham has struggled, and Cody Bellinger all versus Max Scherzer. Why? Because he's an absolute Hall of Famer and has had a heck of a career, but he is not that good anymore. So just something to keep in mind when you do look at these. There's kind of more that goes into it. But Arozarena, 2 for 16, 7 Ks versus Waka Waka. You see Cal Raleigh also 0 for 10, 3 Ks, but he's, again, the best hitter he's ever been in his career by far right now. So that's what we got for all the hitter matchups. Now let's talk some Ks. All right, we got 2 good pitcher strikeout matchups. A little under the radar for these ones, but we start out with the rookie Chase Burns at the Red Sox. Boston, 4th highest K rate versus righties last 3 weeks, 25.7%. Burns, you're reading that right. 8 Ks in 5 innings. So Well, let's talk through this one. Obviously, we're not used to doing this for a guy who's only made one start. This is his second MLB start ever. He is young, that's for sure. And he's also the only MLB starting pitcher to ever K his first five batters faced in the 4 seasons in the minors, because really that's all we have to talk about. He had 89 Ks in 66 innings with just 13 walks. So he's a guy that misses a lot of bats. He's done it his whole career. He did it in start one. He threw 81 pitches in his MLB debut as well. So again, is this risky? Absolutely. He's made one start. He showed his swing and miss stuff. Will it lead into the second start? We'll find out, but it is a good matchup. I just want to include that in here. And then the second one, Jacob Lopez, the lefty, at the Rays. Tampa Bay, even though they're hitting the ball well, seventh highest K rate versus lefties last 3 weeks, 25.2%. Lopez, 55 Ks in 43 innings this season. Lopez has 6+ Ks in 4 of his last 5 starts. He actually has 9 strikeouts exactly in 3 of his last 5 starts. He has been missing some bats. Lower K rate on the road, though, 22% to 35.54% on at home. Of course, he's going to be on the road, but again, it's skewed a little bit. He's only made a handful of starts this year, and he had one bad road outing with 0 Ks versus Toronto, who's like the hardest team to strike out. But in his last 2 road starts versus Detroit and Kansas City, he had 9 and 6 Ks. So higher K rate versus lefties, 34.3 compared to 27.7 versus righties. And those are my 2 strikeout matchups. Chase Burns and Jacob Lopez, exactly who you guys were probably expecting to hear. But either way, that's what we got for the Ks. Before we get to the pitcher report, let's talk some Kalshi. All right, before we get into the pitcher report, you guys know I partner with Kalshi and I use this a ton. It is a lot of fun. If you guys don't know about it, it's federally regulated in all 50 states. It's like stocks, except for it's all topics that are interest of you around the world. It's a ton of fun. And like I said, you can buy, sell contracts like stocks, things like that. Last one we did a couple weeks ago, we won, and we're going to do it again. We're going to get crazy. So before we get into it, you can see all the topics on the top. You got sports, you got climate, culture, crypto, economics, all that stuff, and we are going to go into climate. That's right. You can bet on the weather of the day, and we're going back to the city that we just won. The highest temperature in Chicago, that's where we're going to be. That's right. So you can tell there a percentage chance. We're going to take 88 to 89 degrees after all my, hardcore research on the weather. And that's a 38 cents per contract. I'm going to put $5 on it. Obviously, you guys, do whatever you want. This is just something I wanted to share with you guys that we're betting. But we're going to do that, hit review, and then we're going to hit submit. And that is our call sheet trade of the day. Again, if you guys want to join, the link is below in the description. If you sign up now, you get a $20 bonus credit. So that's what we got for call sheet. Now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here are the 8 matchups of the day. If you're new to the channel, again, we like to give you all the info for every single pitching matchup. We even got home runs per 9 innings given up, and then all the averages are on the bottom, so you know who's actually doing well, who's not. But we start out with Waldron, Matt Waldron of the Padres. How about that? A knuckleballer. If you guys don't remember from last year, we took a couple of K props of his. One, he let me down on the ladder. I haven't forgot it. But 4.91 ERA last year with a 21.3% K rate in 146.2 innings, making his first start of the season. Going up against the man, Zach Wheeler. Again, if you missed it earlier, leave a comment below. Let me know if you guys think Zach Wheeler is a Hall of Famer. He is going to retire here in the next couple of years, he said. But he's a stud right now, giving up 1 or less earned run in 7 of his last 8 starts. You can see all the numbers. It's the same every single year. It seems like 33% K rate, 6.5% walk rate. Doesn't give up many bombs. He's just a stud. And the next one, Eric Fedde versus the lefty, Andrew Heaney. Fedde's been hit and miss. He just got shellacked in his last start, 7 earned runs versus the Cubbies. He's going up against Andrew Heaney. Well, he also got crushed for 7 earned runs in his last start. Actually giving up 7 earned runs in 2 straight starts now versus Detroit and Milwaukee. And then Carlos Rodon versus Max Scherzer. Rodon broke out of his 3-game slump. He went 6 shutout innings in Cincinnati last start. He had given up 3+ earned runs in 3 straight before that. Max Scherzer making his 3rd start of the year. We talked about this guy is a Hall of Famer, but it's time for him to hang it up. You guys can just tell his stuff isn't as good anymore. Velocity obviously way down with his age and injuries, but he has 5 Ks in 8 innings so far. Really small sample size. And then Chase Burns, who we just talked about, top prospect for the Reds, making his 2nd MLB start. Went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 3 earned runs with those 8 Ks versus the Yankees in his debut, going up against Garrett Crochet. What a matchup for him. Crochet giving up 2 or less earned runs now in 15 of 17 starts this year. That's pretty impressive. And then Jacob Lopez, who we already talked about earlier with the Ks as well. He has been sneaky good lately, guys. I don't know how long he can keep it up, but he's given up 1 total earned run in his last 4 starts. That means in the last 23 innings pitched, he has given up 1 single earned run. No more than 4 hits allowed also in the last 4 starts Going up against Drew Rasmussen, who's having a good year, 2.45 ERA, only gone 5.1 innings, or he's gone 5.1 innings or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. So not going super deep lately, but he has given up 2 or lesser in runs in 7 of his last 8. So he's another guy who just gives his team a chance to win, like Lopez has been doing. And then Rogers versus Corbin. This is only the 4th start for the lefty Rogers. He had 2 great starts where he gave up 0 earned runs combined in 14.1 innings, and then 1 bad start versus the Rays. And then Patrick Corbin starting to struggle a little bit finally, giving up 15 hits and 9 earned runs in his last 2 starts. That's over 10 innings. Michael Waka versus George Kirby. Waka, been above average this year. Nothing special. He's gone 6+ innings, though, in 4 of his last 5. And then Kirby of the Mariners, still not fully back, in my opinion. After that ridiculous 14K game when we had his under K's prop, or at least I did, he has had a total now of 11 strikeouts in his last 16 innings. Again, that game was just weird. It just was. And then Logan Webb versus Ryan Nelson wraps it up. Webb, this is only going to be his 3rd road start since May 10th. And he has gone 7+ innings in 6 of his last 10. This guy is an absolute innings monster. Going up against Ryan Nelson, if you guys don't know, he's actually been pretty good lately, surprisingly. He just threw back-to-back one-hitters, 5 and 5.2 innings he's thrown. He's given up 1 or less earned run in 6 of his last 7 starts. So that's what we got for the entire pitcher report and all the research help. Now it's time for the best bets. All right, before we get into bet number 1, this slate is ugly today. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to give you my 1 best bet so far the night before, and then I'm going to talk about 3 bets that I'm considering I haven't placed yet. But I didn't want to force 2 or 3 bets the night before because, like I said, this is a tough 8-game slate. But my first best bet right now is an alt team total parlay. Let's stay hot on these. -120 on DraftKings. I'm going to go a half unit play for me here. Again, 8-game slate, not as many options. But I still really do like this one. Give me the Yankees team total over 2.5, the Rays team total over 2.5, and the Orioles team total over 1.5. That is the D-juicer. So let's start with the Yankees over 2.5 as the first leg. The main reason here, they're facing Max Scherzer. This guy is just not very good anymore. And to be honest, he shouldn't be. He's 40 years old, had a ton of injuries lately. He's made 2 starts this year, just 1 since the injury. Gave up 5 total earned runs in the 8 innings, 5 Ks, 3 walks. When you watch him pitch, and again, it hasn't been a huge sample size, but even end of last year and this year, he just doesn't have the right stuff. It's just not moving as much. His command isn't quite there. Again, back in his prime, absolutely filthy Hall of Famer here. But he had a 4 ERA last season in a shortened season. I expect the Yankees to get to him here. Yankees offense scored 3+ runs in 8 of the last 10 games, 3+ in 6 of the last 10 versus righty. Scored 6+ runs in 5 of those 6 games as well. So this can be an all or nothing type of offense. I get that. On the road this year, though, they've scored 3+ runs in 70% of road games, and they're averaging 5 runs per game on the road. So I don't think getting 3 is that much. And then also the Blue Jays bullpen, it's a little bit taxed here as well. I'd be shocked if they didn't get 3 runs. And also, of course, they're guaranteed 9 full at-bats being the road team. So I like the Yankees over 2.5. And then the Rays over 2.5 second leg. They finally cooled down yesterday versus Dean Kramer yet again. Kramer owns them right now, but they're now back home facing Jacob Lopez. I mentioned earlier, Jacob Lopez has been sneaky good lately, but I think he comes back down to earth here. He struggles versus righties, and he will be facing a crap ton of righties in this lineup. Anywhere from 7 to 9, to be honest with you. I mean, I would expect probably maybe like 8 when I go through the lineup. He's given up a 250 average, 412 slugging with a 440 xFIP versus righties. He also struggled a little bit more overall on the road with a 4.5 ERA and a 275 average against. The Rays offense crushes lefties. They've been crushing everybody, but last 3 weeks versus lefties, 3rd highest WRC plus and 2nd highest batting average. In fact, they've scored 3+ runs in 12 of 17 home games versus a lefty starter. They've scored 3+ runs in 9 of the last 10 games versus lefty. They've been heating up. At the beginning of the year, they were kind of hit and miss with their offense, but as you guys know, they've been heating up. Last 5 games versus lefty starter, if I could talk, 10, 3, 12, 8, and 5 runs scored. I like a good bounce back spot here at home. So give me the Rays over 2.5. And then the final one again, the D-juicer. Hopefully the D-juicer doesn't lose like the last one. But Orioles team total over 1.5. I almost went with the Reds team total under 6.5 as well as a different option. But Orioles offense been better versus lefties. If you guys know, the Orioles struggled mightily versus lefties earlier this year. But in the last 10 games versus a lefty starter, they've scored 2+ runs in 8 of 10. Again, that's not saying a lot when you score 2 runs, but I only need 2. That's why I'm mentioning that. They've also averaged 4.4 runs per game in the last 10 versus a lefty starter. In the last 3 weeks, all their numbers overall versus lefties, 11th highest WRC plus, 11th highest batting average. Again, that is a big upgrade from what we saw earlier this year against lefties. and they're facing Patrick Corbin. His opponent has had 2+ runs scored off him in 12 of 14 starts. That's before they even get to the bullpen. He's been struggling a little bit more lately, something we've finally been expecting, but overall he's been a little bit better. But he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 10 innings. Behind him is a taxed Rangers bullpen. I saw the Rangers and the Mariners go at it with 2 extra inning games. A lot of arms were used. Again, Orioles are guaranteed 9 ABs. All I need is 2 flipping runs. So give me the Yankees team total over 2.5, Rays over 2.5, and the Orioles over 1.5. That is my first best bet. And like I mentioned before, I only have one best bet the night before. I'm not trying to force too many, but I do have some plays I want to talk over. So let's head to that. All right, here we go. So I got 3 bets I'm considering. Again, these are not official bets yet. I just want to kind of talk through some more bets. Maybe one of them grabs you and you like it. Maybe you hate them all. Whatever. But we'll see if I add 1 or 2 of these or any of them. So first one, Royals money line. This is the underdog play, obviously. Plus 140 right now on the money line. I've talked about it before. The Royals offense has been better on the road, and the Mariners offense sucks at home. I've been saying that my entire life. I don't even want to talk about them. But anyway, starting pitcher matchup is not as big of a difference as the odds would say here. Kirby's still rounding into form. When Kirby is in his prime and ready to roll, yes, he's one of the better pitchers in the league. And Walker's been fine, not as good on the road here. But again, Seattle also sucks hitting at home. We got wind blowing in here. Mariners coming back after a brutal 3-game series versus Texas, like I said earlier. Couple extra inning games, lots of bullpen arms used. I could see like a 2-2, maybe 2-1 type game heading to late innings. And again, a plus 140. That's what it's about here is the value. I think it's just a little too high. So I do like the Royals money line. Whether I pull the trigger on it or not, we'll see. But just wanted to kind of let you know. But the second one, the rookie, we talked about it already. Chase Burns over 5.5 Ks. The problem, this 5.5 Ks got juiced to minus 150 on DraftKings already. Maybe you can go with this with a little juice reducer. But we talked about this in detail in the pitcher strikeout matchup, so I don't need to say too much. He has nasty stuff, facing one of the highest K teams in the MLB, especially since Devers left. It's been ugly. Only concern here is weather. First of all, it's his first game in Fenway Park, and the weather's great. It's great hitting conditions and all that. So only 1 game sample size with a lot of minor league stats, so that's small as well. Lots of risk whenever you're taking a rookie in his second start. But I do like Burns. I like his stuff. I like him to get over 5.5 K, especially against a team that's never seen him. So third one. This one might be the lean that I like the most, but Garrett Crochet under 1.5 earned runs plus 115 on DraftKings. I saw this. Yes, hitting weather is good, like I said, but I don't know if it matters much here in this situation. This is on the other side of that same game as with Burns, but Reds have been bad versus lefties. Last 3 weeks versus lefties, the 23rd WRC plus at 79. Again, 100 is average. 21st batting average at 234. Here's what the last 5 lefties have done to the Reds. Max Fried, 0 earned runs in 7 innings. Again, Crochet is on his level. Carlos Rodon, 0 earned runs in 6 innings. Crochet is better than him. Logan Allen, not good. 2 earned runs in 6 innings. That's right. Eduardo Rodriguez, also not very good. 2 earned runs in 5 innings. And then Noah Cameron, the rookie, 1 earned run in 6.1 innings. The most anybody in these last 5 given up is 2 earned runs, and Logan Allen and Rodriguez are nowhere near Crochet's level. So, as you can tell, the Reds have been struggling against lefties, and now they're not going to be in Cincy also. But Crochet this season, under 1.5 earned runs allowed in 11 of 17 starts, under in 5 of 7 home starts. 1 over was versus Seattle. I remember I had that one, but he had 5 walks. He could not throw a strike to save his life. As long as he has some command here, he should absolutely shut down this Reds offense. And again, another option I like because it's plus money, under 1.5 earned runs. So those are the 3 possible bets I like, with my alt team total as my only official best bet so far, and all the research help I have for you for Monday. Thanks for listening. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. Just the one best bet so far. Alternate team total parlay. I'm going to go half unit here. Yankees over 2.5, Rays over 2.5, and the Orioles over 1.5. And I have a note here for all you people that fast forward to the bets recap. I did mention 3 bets I'm still considering, if you do want to go back and listen to that. But again, thank you guys for listening. And hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. But hope you have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon.